Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make another a drill block. As you can see, we've made several here. Some that's been a bit sanded down. We've got to take the burrs out. There's some with different size holes for different bee species, and we're just making these up to see what we can get this year. But what we've seen on other videos is that these, although these seem long enough, and in fact they're the same depth as the plastic tubes that I've got on my other bee boxes, what we've seen is that some people are saying that we need a really long shaft, long tunnel for the bees to go down, because you get more bees per inch, and that's the Hutchings bee service people that told us of this. So what we're going to try and do is, here we're going to drill the right down the length of the block with a much longer drill bit which we've just got, and we're going to go lengthwise and see if that gets more bees than the sort of standard masonry block that we're making here. So we're just going to put the drill bit in. It's a very long one. There we go. I'm going to start to drill our first holes, nice and tight. Now what we've decided is the drill bit is long enough at the lower part, but not at the top part. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a mix of holes that go through, where we're going to put paper tubes all the way through, and ones where we're just going to put a paper inside, and we're going to see if we can pull out the paper at the end of the season, where it's blocked at where it comes out at the back. It'll be easier to pull out possibly than the ones where it doesn't, where it has a wood finish and doesn't go all the way through. So we're going to mix it a little around a bit and see what comes out, and this will be another experimental block to see what the best design is. And the other thing that I didn't mention is that because we're going to use this block, which was a through the front block, I don't know how to explain it, a short hole block, but because it was a bit rough there, and we've chosen to go down the length of the block, we're going to put it like this so that we actually have almost a protection there, that the water won't come in, because it's a little bit of an angle there, and we're hoping that the angle isn't too much for the bees to land on and they won't fall off, that there's no problem with that. And again, it's more questions we're posing by what we do, which is all part of the fun of trying to look after solitary mason bees. So right, I'll retighten it now and then we'll drill. So one thing I've got to make sure I do here is get right over the drill, otherwise I'm not going to have it properly vertical, and that well, I hope that we're not going to do too many holes, but I hope that I won't crisscross the holes so I make a real mess of it. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tricky one to do, but here we go again. I'll keep going. Well, it looks like the drill bit isn't long enough to go through, so what we might do in the end is saw off the bottom bit to catch the to open up the holes. But that looks fairly straight, but we don't know until it comes through. So I'll just keep drilling, and I'll try and avoid crossing over the different holes. So here we go. So we know that we've got the drill bit that's gone in that far in, so that's the top bit, and we know that it's about there because we've got a mess up drill bit, so a hole. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut across here with the same angle, and we're going to cut this block off the back and make it so that we can reattach it once we put in the paper tubes. Dale has done a great job of sawing the end off this block, and now You can see through, the holes go all the way through. And of course, a little bit like target practice, when when I drilled through, my alignment wasn't very good at the back, and that's the difficulty of doing it freehand. I think, again, it's an amateur job, but it'll work. We'll pass some paper tubes through this and we'll set it in place for the bees to come in. They won't mind which direction the holes go, as long as they're long, the tunnels are long. So we'll see how this one works out for the season. Okay, so I've put the paper tubes in, as you've seen, and what I did there was found I had a bit too much paper at the back, so I cut the tubes down, and I sealed it up with a bit of gaffer tape to make sure that there's nothing that can crawl in the back. And as you've seen here, I've just cut a slate tile. You can score them with a simple screwdriver, or it's a very old slate which was broken, and I used a jigsaw which was quite rapid, and the blades strong enough to cut through tile. Okay, so the slate's in place. I've left a little bit of a gap to be able to pull out the nails if next year I have to take off the gaffer tape, and so at least the slate doesn't get in the way. And the last thing I'm doing, and I'm doing this with all my new bee habitats this year, is I've figured out last year that the excrement that's produced by the bees as they emerge from their cocoons, they leave a little trace of all the residue of pollen that they've eaten whilst they've been a larva and whilst they've been metamorphosizing, and all the stuff they have to chew through to get out of their cocoons. And here what I did was, with a cotton bud, I took a lot of this poo and suspended it in water. It sounds daft, but to visiting bees, the fact that other solitary bees, other mason bees, have emerged from this area, from a bee block, from a tunnel, from a habitat, the fact that other bees have left their pheromones and their smells behind, the odours of their excrement, I think that's a good motivator for new female bees looking to nest, because they know, or at least you can trick them into thinking that other solitary bees have been nesting here. It's been safe enough for them to survive the whole winter and emerge, otherwise they wouldn't have produced the smell. And so what I'm doing is, any new block from now on that I've produced, I'm going to put the smell, or the suspended poo, if you like, on the surface of the block, so that when a bee comes along looking for a hole, she'll say, well, hold on a second, there's other bees have nested here, and so therefore I think it's safe enough to nest. So I'm sure I'll give updates on my blog about how this little experiment has gone on. Okay, so I've soaked the front of the tunnels with bee poo. Okay, I hope you like the video. Come and visit me on my blog, and there'll be updates on my YouTube channel of all that's been going on with my nesting blocks, and especially this one. Okay, thanks. So I've just put it in place with all my other little tubes and habitats, and if you can see on my other videos, I've got this new habitat I've put in place. It's another bee observation box which I've just put here, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm just painting on some of the excrement of the bees on the surface of this new bee observation box, to encourage female bees to nest there.